Okay. We are going to call the Floyd County Board of Supervisors meeting to order January 14th at 9 a.m. First thing on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comment. Everybody, I think, is probably here for a reason today, so if not, speak up, please. Review action, item number 3, review action regarding approval of December 23rd, 24th, and January 2nd and 6th meeting minutes.
We had quite a few to look through. I did look through all of them and I didn't see anything out of line and thought they looked good. So I will make a motion to approve December 23rd and 24th of 2019 meeting minutes and January 2nd and January 6th of 2020 meeting minutes.
And I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve December 23rd, 24th, 2019, and January 2nd and January 6th, 2020 meeting minutes. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Review action regarding approval of claims.
And I would move to approve the claims as presented.
And I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the claims as presented. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 5, review action regarding contract declaration and execution with IDHS for EPICS training, coaching, and contract with the University of Cincinnati Research Institution.
Good morning.
Yes.
Okay, so today I have to present the MOU with Floyd County and the University of Cincinnati Corrections Institute. This MOU is more of a binding to make sure that all of the deliverables and performance measures are carried out. And then I have the contract also for the $65,000 amount. I put it at that just to make sure we don't go over. There's potential for the Mason City area to have some fees for training facilities if the juvenile court officers aren't really okay with the DHS office in Mason City, as that is free of charge. So I have this to present as well. This is the entire contract and I can get you copies of this. So I would be needing 2 signatures today, both from Roy.
Discussion.
No, I mean, I had looked it over and I thought everything looked good. I think it's an opportunity, you know, to provide this training. So we're fortunate in that way. I didn't see any concerns at all myself.
I'm fine with it. Like what we've been
Yeah.
trying to get to this point, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the one that just got brought up to you last week.
And this one, yeah,
Right.
this one is this year, right? It's
Correct.
Correct. It
Right
has to be
before
done by
June 30th.
June.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
And the county will receive the 5% added fees.
Mm-hmm.
5%
Yep,
fees.
we talked about it, and, yeah, and we have to amend our budget eventually for this, is that right, Gloria? Yeah, we've talked about that too, so.
And I reviewed this with Gloria. We have the language in here in regards to this contract not being an obligation of any sort for taxpayers of Floyd County. So I'm just keeping that in
This
there.
is the one that'll allow they'll await payment until the GACs can be sent in and reimbursed.
Good,
And then they pay the large part of the contract.
sounds like a win-win.
I would move to approve the contract with University of Cincinnati Research Institution.
Well,
Or,
I think first you're kind of approving the contract with the State Department of Human Services, Iowa Department of Human
IDHS.
Services. And then the second part of that is
Training.
that you're approving the
do we
contract.
have 2
with-
contracts here?
Yeah, well, first the contract for the grant, that's the
So
$65,000.
2 motions.
No, you can do it all this one, I think is fine. And then the other one is for the University of Cincinnati Research, that contract.
We're still
That
the
is, yeah.
Let me restart that. I would move to approve the contract with IDHS for ethics training and coaching, and also a contract with the University of Cincinnati Research Institution, and direct the chair to sign.
All right, with that, I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the contract with IDHS and Cincinnati Research Institute. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That is done. And I
You
will
need a
sign that.
signature, right?
We can start talking, well, actually, the flood insurance rate maps. Is Leslie coming up this morning or not? Because that's the one she'd be on, right?
I don't think she was.
Okay, that's fine. Review and action regarding adoption of the flood insurance rate map, floodplain management regulations.
And again, this is just a procedure that we go through to, so modifications have been made to the FEMA flood maps, and it's really just us to go ahead and approve it. Leslie didn't have any concerns or anything, it's just one of those things that they need the board of supervisors to approve.
Lori's gonna want copies of that.
Sure it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just have you sign it.
Oh, okay, that's fine, you got it, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, again, like I said, we spoke about it yesterday, and then Doug, you weren't here, but there really wasn't any concerns with it, so.
Right, there's been public meetings on it, and
There
the
have,
public's
all the
had
public
it.
has weighed in on
Everything's
it.
done,
I was
so,
at
yep.
some of them, and yeah, they're all been made aware.
Thank you.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion then to approve the adoption of the flood insurance rate maps, floodplain management regulations.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the adoption of the flood insurance rate maps, floodplain management regulations. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 7, review action regarding resolution 05-20 approving 2020A bond purchase agreement.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Heidi.
I look a little different than Jeff, but Heidi
That's
Poole,
fine. That's
Heidi Poole
fine.
with
We're glad.
Northland Securities today.
I have met you before, but I was trying to
Yes.
place you. Yeah.
It's probably at one of the ISACs.
I think
and
so.
That's, so today what we have is there's a contract to lock in the interest rates for the second portion of the issuance for the jail bonds. And I have in front of you today is a bond sale summary that'll go over the details of the sale. The sale went very, very well. And a lot of that is due to the local banks.
I was gonna ask how that went over.
And all four.
Because I know Jeff, when we talked to him last, he wasn't sure either on.
Where the coupon structure, it was
Right.
a set structure,
Mhm.
there was a lot of interest in both, I wrote down the banks, Fidelity Bank and Trust, First Security Bank and Trust, First Citizens, and the CUS.
CUSB.
Good.
All
Good.
participated in the sale and bought the bonds, which when you have the heavy local presence, that also facilitates the lower interest rates and facilitates a great sale. So that was very positive. We don't always know with the local banks if they'll be in because interest rates are low right now.
Mm-hmm.
There also was tax reform a couple years ago where municipal bonds don't always fit the banks, but your banks came in and all participated, bought some of the maturities. So that was great. And
Good,
then you'll
it's good
see-
they had that opportunity and
They had
they
it.
took it.
Yep. So you see in front of you, I have a bond sale summary here. So the par amount of the bonds is the remainder of that referendum amount of the $7,490,000 for a total par amount of between the two is that 13.5. We structured it just to do that pre-levy that we put in place last year, and then leveled out the payments after that. Gloria did a lot of work, and so did Linda to get the rating was reaffirmed at AA-. which is a great rating for the county. And you'll see here that average interest rate is that coupon where we're getting those premiums of 5%. And all-inclusive cost includes all of your costs, including bond counsel, paying agent, and then your true interest cost, it takes into account time and also the fees and nothing. So an overall 19-year rate of 2.32%, which is a very good rate.
Good. It's not free money, but it's almost.
It's not free money, but, a couple of weeks ago, I know Jeff had talked to you about the call dates and how you wanting to maximize that premium. We do have a call date of 2033. I know you talked about going out maybe to the 34. The thing is once it gets out that long, the additional premiums, it diminishes, and it just didn't make sense for the sale. If you see on that second line there, the par amount is $7,490,000 with an additional premium of $1,919,000 for a total amount of funds that will come for $9,409,000. After the cost of issuance, the deposit to the construction fund will be $9,280,000. Down below there, you'll see that coupon. The coupon is the 5.
Where's the 9,280,000?
It's right here on the.
Oh, it's
got
use
it here, use the funds.
Yes, you're still looking on the bottom.
I know.
The coupon is that 5, which we put on there to generate those premiums. The yield is essentially that net effect of getting that premium in place. What the premium is investors, instead of borrowing $1,000 and paying $1,000 back, the investor gives $1,000 and you pay $900 back. You'll see to the right, the prices they paid, 101% of the bond value, all the way up to 134% to achieve those 5 coupons. To generate that additional $1.919 million. The next page is that structure that shows that payments that will be made. Principal and interest payments are made in June, and interest payments are made in December. See that first payment's just under $485,000, which is what that pre-levy was put in place last year about this time, with then approximately level payments of $611,000 after that until the bonds mature in 2038. And I did want to talk through that payment combined with the 2018 bonds. I'll pass this out too. And I updated that debt service levy. We'll put about $1.04 per thousand. And I know that when you were campaigning and you're looking at that tax impact,
Yeah.
it was about $1.08. So you're below
Yeah.
that mark. So
And that's what we wanted to stay in.
you wanted to stay that, and you wanted to.
I'm sorry, what'd you say it was?
The
$1.08.
$1.08 was what was set to the public, and then with the tax impact here is $1.04,
Okay.
based off of your new
So
tax
we're
law.
staying
That's what we were
under the
You're
talking
staying
about
under,
the other
you're
day.
staying
Right.
underneath.
He wasn't sure if he could keep it at that, but apparently did.
Yes,
That's good. That's,
It's, part of it's where the market rates are at now, they are low, and part of it is those new values that came in. If you look at all the way that gray column there, your taxable valuation increased for fiscal 2021. What we're seeing, based off of the ag values and the changes here, 100% valuation is dropping, but the taxable valuation is going up. So that's what we're seeing for, why those values are going up, and then there's also, growth as well too. But you know, even getting that additional 1.9 million, you're staying under that amount that you told the
I'm
public that
glad
you
that's
would.
worked out,
Okay.
so that's very important.
Mm-hmm. Looks
And
like
that
it
is
did
just
what we
dependent on
talked
the
about.
valuation,
Right.
so.
What's that, Gloria?
That is dependent on the valuation.
On that.
Sure,
Valuations,
absolutely.
Mhm.
So it could be more or less.
Could be less.
Right.
And, you know, if you look at a trend of, you know, what counties are doing each year, you know, they have the ups and downs, but averages for rural counties, about 3% each year. So you would expect that if things keep going at that pace, that would go down as the years go on, so.
One county just reported they had 24% decrease in rural valuations.
One county did?
One county,
Yeah.
24% decrease in rural.
You have this TIF listed here, which is obviously our windmills.
That pays off the 2016 bonds, which it was the Build America bonds that you had done. And that's not paid by debt service, I believe it's paid by TIF funds.
funds.
Yeah.
Jeff helped us redo that one and.
Yeah.
2016.
I think
Didn't
it's
say
for that.
$400,000 because of refinancing?
Because of that, that sounds right, you know,
That's because
those
the urban, those were those Build America bonds.
By going from those Gold America bonds
bonds
to something else.
to a regular general obligation bond.
Yeah.
So that is, that payment that will be paid off in 2020, I think it's either 28 or 29, my eyes are. 28. So that's the other outstanding general obligation bond that the county has outstanding. So today, what I have in front of the board today is a contract, which what it does is it locks in those interest rates that we went through on that summary. After that, you know, what does the process look like? You sign today, that locks in those rates. 2 weeks from now, you have an issuance resolution, which Bob will provide, which what it does is it basically affirms already what you've done, legalizes the bonds, assigns the paying agent, and then after that, we're set to close and have the funds in place on February 11th. So just to kind of give you a timeline of what this looks like and to close out this financing. Are there any questions or anything that I can explain again? I know that there's a lot of numbers but very pleased with the sale and and congratulations on reaffirming your rating and coming in the market. That's a good time. My mind's I was just thinking, I was looking at some of the bond sales we did in early December versus now, rates are lower even than when they were in December. So if you look at those yields in those first couple of years, it's 1.14. So I mean, it seems to be a very good time to be issuing bonds. So.
Good.
So what you have in your packet is the resolution from Bob Johnston to enter into this contract with
5-20.
yes.
Okay.
Well, I think, Jeff being here last week, it was a great discussion that we had, and it's nice to see the outcome from that discussion, being presented today. And I'm agreement, I think it's great the local banks, are taking advantage of this. And I'm very pleased with this.
What I'd like to see about it is the fact that, we've signed contracts to keep this project going, and this is the financial means to make sure that happens. And that's what I like to see. I mean, we could have been sitting here going, interest rates went sky high, and now what are we gonna do, and how are we gonna pay for this project that we're moving forward with? So I love this.
And we know, there's no guarantees on anything that's gonna happen with this project. What I like is that, the worst thing we could have done is not have a plan, to move forward. We took that stance, we agreed to go ahead with the project.
Yep.
This is just another part of that plan, on how we want to finance it. So, like I said, I'm feeling much better.
Yep.
Yeah, and we talk about, whether we do this today or whether we put it off and say, gee, could we save more money, 3 months from now or whatever. And I think to myself, personally, I will kick myself a lot worse if our rates would go up in 3 months and we're in a lot worse position. And if they happen to go down, I'll go, yeah, we could have waited 3 months. But the project is financially sound and we're moving forward, so.
I'm not here to play the stock market.
No, I agree.
With that, I would move to approve resolution number 5-20.
All right, and I'll second.
I have a motion to approve Resolution 5-20, approving the bond purchase agreement. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I will ask, so with the bond market, once the board approves it, Northland has 2 hours to send this out to the entire market, letting the market know the rates.
Okay?
So I would ask if I can wait till the end of the meeting, or if you do have time to sign the contract.
If you've got it, I can sign it.
So there's just a spot here for you to sign the time. Gloria will sign that too. And I'll give you 2 copies so you can have
Okay?
one, and then I will take one with me.
Okay.
Quick drive up, quick drive back.
I'll make a couple stops.
I was
on the
gonna
way
say,
back.
just take it easy going back.
And you want the time put on this?
That would be great.
I'm gonna put 23, I guess.
Need the official.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and you got 20.
Yeah,
Very
official
good.
night.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
And I'll actually do this one while I'm at it, so it's got it. Oh, I'd get eventually before
She's
the
done,
morning's out.
she's done me this, you don't need that.
Well, again, congratulations. It's just great that those local banks jumped in like they did.
Absolutely.
Hand that to Gloria. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we're gonna keep moving on.
Thank you.
Take care.
Item number 8, review action regarding LEC courthouse project contracts and change orders as applicable. Do we have anything today?
You've got that one from yesterday's packet for the pay out to.
Okay. So now, as far as this pay app, was that on our claims?
No. Bill Huey had to. So what you had in your packet was, probably doesn't have Bill Huey's signature, but Sunday, like 4 something on Sunday, Bill
Send an
did his
email.
approval on it. I forwarded that to you. Maybe you got it.
I did, yeah. And we talked to him yesterday, just to reaffirm that he had sent his approval on it.
Okay.
Really interesting that thing I saw, we kept hearing all the time that there wasn't any winter conditions, but they actually do have winter conditions if you look at that weather protection.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
Yep.
drawing some money out of that.
About 7 lines down or whatever, yeah.
When you look through these, you see who's drawing money and then you wonder if they were on the job.
Well, Bill said yesterday that some of the things are, you know, materials, things they're gearing up for, and that's why we're
Right.
seeing the expenses, but, and
The other thing you
when
look
they're
for
ready
is
to go
when
to
they're,
work, they'll
when they're
go.
even numbers, when it's just 10,000. There was no turning in bills there, it was just, we'll see if we can do that. Just a 10. But obviously Brett has approved this and
Yeah, they're Sammons Group is the first signature on there.
Yeah,
The signature
alright.
you have on there.
I actually stopped in the office down there yesterday and Brett was there and the comment I had to him was, you know, we want to make sure that this project is on budget, you know, that's one of the things and, you know, we don't end up short in the end. And he said, no, this is, we're right on track. So, you know, I have to put some faith in them and,
right?
you know, so. So we need a motion to approve this?
This would be the
Trying to find them.
374,300.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to find the amounts.
Kind of hard to read on that one.
Is it 374?
374,
That is hard to
390.
read.
I'll make the motion.
I tried to
I'll make a
pull it up.
motion that we pay the claim of 374, 390 for our project at this point.
Is it 390? Is
Bill
it?
second that?
374, 300.
Well, 300 is
That's what I
it?
was gonna say, I don't
Okay.
think that's a 9.
There's a little,
All right, I will.
Yes.
Are you seconding that?
And I have a second? Okay. I have a motion and a second to pay the claim of 374, 300. Further discussion? All those in favor?
I
Aye.
And before we get off the topic, though, I do want to bring up, just, a lot of the discussion yesterday, too, is trying to find staging area. So I know, Doug, you weren't here yesterday, and I think you've had some discussion. I also have gone down and talked to Brian this morning, because I had another contact that I'm looking into, and I know he went out into the Quonset hut,
Into the garage.
into the garage, and I know, Dusty, we hadn't had a chance to talk to you either, so it's just something that they're really pushing for right now, is to
they have a
identify.
date in mind when it might happen. I'm assuming it's for the precast, it's a
They
big push
want
right
it
now.
anytime, but actually other things as well.
They
Some-
basically said anything that we can get now is great,
Yeah.
you know, so they're
Yeah.
not looking at even waiting on
So
this,
the
if we can identify.
detention center doors were the one thing, because they're steel, they want those in a
Inside
dry
a
place, so
building.
not a dirt floor like the
Right.
Quonset building, but
Mhm.
someplace that would be.
So I just thought I'd take this time, since I know, Doug, you weren't here yesterday, and we had our meeting with the contractors yesterday, and that was the big thing, that they're really trying to make sure that we can
So if
identify
it's
some
just storage
locations.
stuff behind the DHS building, there's
We mentioned
There's a
the
lot back
garage
there.
there.
some of the ones I
Roger
was talking, it
Hickok
might be
from
easier to park
the-
semi-trailers for a while rather than just start storing rebar and.
The
bar and
DHS
stuff.
building, yeah.
Roger Hickok from Dean Schneider Construction is the one that's looking for the, primarily for the storage.
And I did get a hold of, who I'm talking to right now is Chris Garden, because there's some, he has some locations too. So anyway, I stopped to see Brian before I came up today and let him know and gave Chris's number to him. So I left it with Chris that Brian may be contacting him. If we can just find some options out there, you know, and see what we've got. He's got a couple buildings. that
Ron
would work.
Hilligus was another one we gave him contact information on for the, I don't know if the old county shed would have
Sure.
any.
Yeah.
Whether it's full or whether he's got space.
And
So
then
we
we
talked to Brian.
tried to
Children
call,
are
didn't
gonna
catch,
have
called
any
in
incidents
yesterday.
because they didn't want all
Didn't
that
know if
traffic across the bridge or whatever,
Yeah.
but I asked them.
So
I'll talk to
just
Mid-America today.
passing that on, you know, I think, you know, the more ideas that we can give to Brett and Brian.
No charge
on
to it.
location. Yeah.
Sure.
How many acres is in this subdivision coming up?
Oh, for storage?
Use it all.
Morning, Ray.
It's probably crops
So
on
anyway.
there right now.
You can rock it.
Or there will be. Well,
That's
is that
all
all
I
we
had.
have for now?
That's all I had.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to take advantage since we had a line item there to
Absolutely,
talk about it.
absolutely. Okay. With that, I have 9:30, which is our magic time here, so I am going to go to item number 9, and we're gonna open the public hearing regarding RK's subdivision preliminary plat, 7-lot subdivision located at 2648 195th Street, Charles City, Iowa. 22-95-16 St. Charles Township. Have we had any comments?
I've received no written or oral comments in support of or against.
And I've heard nothing.
I'm-
Leslie, anything?
No comments outside of the zoning commission. I didn't receive any for or against either.
Yeah.
Do we have the minutes of that?
Gloria, did you get everything yesterday? You were out and I said it on your,
Oh, no, they didn't share.
Okay, the minutes of the meeting.
Did you email them?
Huh?
Did you email them or?
I did not. I just brought the whole packet up, so I just have the one, but that's the minutes of it, the whole meeting. I just, the notes from the meeting,
Mhm.
Okay.
so. That's all I got right.
That's fine.
I have two.
It's all right.
And then, the chair of the zoning commission did ask that I make sure that you guys, sorry, you were out, I just set it on your chair hoping that you'd see it, so, the engineer had wrote a letter of approval from it,
Okay.
and then, the name got approved through the auditor's office.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you guys wanna see the maps? Cause I have
Like there was any concerns in from the
No,
commission.
just normal discussion. They asked a couple questions of Ray if he was gonna expand it farther than that in the future.
Mhm.
And obviously he can speak for himself, but the commission was told he's not looking to increase it more than the 7 that he's asking for right now, so.
All right.
You know, and it's your decision. I'm just curious, did you leave access to the properties to the
Yes,
south of it?
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
60-foot access right away.
Sure,
Into
sure.
the land behind.
Yep, yep. And again, that was your decision, whatever you did, but that's good.
What I had for their packet distribution. I
Good.
gave to them. I didn't have it.
Because you never know what the future brings,
Right.
or somebody else in the future.
And like currently it's in CRP, so eventually if it goes back into production, then you need the access to.
You need the access for that anyhow, right? Because that is your access then for that, not from your,
Well, both ways now.
both ways.
So that-
Down the road,
that would
if
be right there.
My
Sure.
acreage was sold off, they'd
Sure.
still have access to the farmland.
To that farmland.
Right.
Yep.
Which basically is a law that you can't landlock.
We can't landlock them,
You
right?
can't sell land.
That's good. Yeah, so it'd lock you in as far as what you sold for your acreage if you did that.
Mhm.
Do you wanna see the
Mhm.
minutes, Roy?
Sure, I forget what it's in.
Looks good.
Mm-hmm. Good project.
And I know we had had a discussion over this prior to it going to the city. And, Ray will not be doing any of the trenching or groundwork or anything else. He's just subdividing the lots out and then selling the lots
Right.
bare to whoever wants to then do all the construction work for it, so.
Did you get something from the city?
No.
On there?
I have not, and I don't know if they put anything on the planning and zoning on their website, because I could not find I couldn't find minutes from them. I've asked John Fallis 3 times to send me something, and I've not heard anything back from him. I don't know if I should be asking someone else on their planning and zoning, but Ray was at that meeting for the city.
And when they got done with it, John just recommended that the city approve and pass it on to the supervisors in the county zoning.
Right.
That's all it was said.
And I did talk with John after that. I talked with him over the phone, and that's what he had told me. I just have not seen anything to print off for you guys.
Yeah, and I actually, in my personal life, I sit on their planning and zoning, And I know it was at our meeting, but I can't tell you the exact date of that meeting.
Yeah,
but-
I was trying to think.
Yeah,
back when
I was trying to
there.
think too, but yeah, I was at our meeting, so. Yeah, so they've had their chance.
Right.
Right, which is all that's required, I think, by code.
Yep, for a major subdivision, this will actually come through one more time, because this is the approval for the preliminary.
Okay,
So, but since Ray's not doing the construction of anything, then it will be quicker turnaround for his final plat approval.
okay. Well, with that, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna close the hearing. And we will move on to item number 10, I believe. That's the correct procedure, which is discussion and potential action on resolution 06-20, RK subdivision preliminary plat, to approve first reading, date and time for second reading approval as final.
This is where you check the boxes with.
I know,
on
so
the-
my
Right.
question to you, I think I did this before, is there a timing concern on this, or you need?
It's getting to be a timing concern.
That's always the
I
question.
have a person that
right?
would like to start getting the well drilled and stuff like that, and the power moved to where he'll be doing his actual house and that.
When are they planning on wanting to
Well,
start?
he didn't say, but he asked me again how much. I said that it's gotta go through a lot of,
Can you,
same thing over
can
and
you
over
do that
again.
before
but-
the final?
I'm sorry?
Can
Can he start, can any work
can
be
you
started
do that
before
with
the
the
final?
preliminary, or you have to go
Yeah.
through the final yet?
What the ordinance states is that he requests for the preliminary, and then it just says that, I don't think it states who needs to be doing that work, or who can do that work, but that sort of stuff is normally why a major subdivision comes to the preliminary, and then they do work like that, and then come back for the final, and as long as everything on the final plat matches the preliminary, it should be a no-brainer, breeze through.
So if we approve this, you're immediately gonna turn around and bring a final back to us, or you're thinking?
I'd
Pretty
like to, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
how fast can we get that one? I
So-
mean, your next
So I guess
meeting?
what my thinking is, we're gonna have one more chance to look at it all anyway. so-
Right, and that helps me to make that decision too, so. I mean, I would go ahead and approve resolution 06-20, which is the preliminary subdivision plat for RK subdivision. Approve the first reading and waive the second and third.
I would second that.
I have a motion to approve resolution 6-20, RK subdivision preliminary plat, to approve the first reading and waive the second and third,
And make this the final.
and make this the final. Further discussion?
As the final
Okay.
reading on this, yeah.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
The use of final was done two different ways, I get your point.
Okay.
This just went the final reading on the preliminary.
Final on the preliminary.
On the
Preliminary.
preliminary.
I know.
Right.
Although we're
So
skipping
good
it all,
catch.
giving it
No,
a
I
final.
was
that's
like,
fine.
way to go.
Right.
Good. Keep moving forward, Ray.
Yes.
It's good.
And obviously, they don't wanna be drilling a well and stuff until it's transferred to them, you know, which I
Right.
don't blame them either.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Either,
Okay,
That's good.
sounds good.
See you again.
so.
Yes.
Okay,
All right, take care.
thank you.
Item number 11, discussion with county engineer about secondary road activities. Dusty,
We don't have much, just
other than there's snow out there.
snow, yeah, they're out early.
You know, we've been so
Yesterday.
lucky, Dusty, gosh,
Yeah,
you know, we
it
keep
was
saying that
March.
to everybody.
Sure.
So,
We've been lucky, but I just hope it don't drag out the spring.
Yeah, I know, we all do,
First of
I
June.
know, I know.
so next week will be our letting for T38 on 7 Mile Corner North. Wrapping up the plans for T26, which we talked about. I think we're gonna choose February 25th for having you guys open stuff up here for that HMA stuff. That gives the DOT letting, which is next week, plus the February letting, which is the 18th.
February 25th.
February 25th is a Tuesday,
Be
June
the
2nd.
last.
And then that way the DOT letting in February will have happened too, and then maybe we'll see who's getting all the bids, and maybe they'll come and bid some good stuff for T26 too. So, our bridge will be let next week also, is the 22nd. That is the one that's north of North Springs. We're getting quotes and prices for 3-day labor projects, just ideas of what they're gonna cost, and then I'll have those let up here also for next summer.
Did you say?
What's that?
When's that one at?
Which one?
The bridge?
Bridge north of North Springs will be next Tuesday also, the 22nd. Or Wednesday, sorry, Wednesday.
Okay.
Because of the holidays, the 22nd. So yeah, snow operations, make it through my box culverts. Some of those days in there, they were scraping ice last week when we had a little bit of that snowpack on the roads. And then pulling in some rock here and there, so. And then just hopefully keep snaking through, and a little bit of snow chance tomorrow, I guess, again, and this weekend, Friday,
This
Saturday.
weekend again, I said unknown.
But
Again, we consider ourselves fortunate that we
we get
made
to
it this
January even that
long.
much closer than February.
Yeah.
But last
That's right.
year, we had some bad couple storms in there still, but.
But you know, once we get through January, it's one less month of it.
I know. That's about all I got, you guys. Off the record, basically, about I'm gonna have to have surgery on my neck coming up. Just so you guys are aware of it, I have a slipped disc that's pushing against my spinal cord, so kind of a scary thing, but young enough that the doctor recommended doing something, so.
Are you gonna
Don't
have-
have to put that in there.
No.
But I'm offering that, no HIPAA rules, but since it's me, I'm saying, just so you guys are aware of it, probably like a 2-week to a 6-week, whatever recovery, but yeah, I'm not sure when I'm gonna do it again. I don't know if I'm gonna screw up my bowling game or do that now or wait or whatever, but no, it's just something that's been happening over the last 12 years, because in 08 I had an MRI and now I did it again, and it's pushing against it, so it's kind of one of those. If you were 80, I wouldn't worry about it, but since you're your age, you'd probably be pretty cut and dry.
Did you wrestle when you were young? That's why my kids all have back problems
I don't
from
know what they
wrestling.
Just figure I'd keep you guys posted, when I determine when I want to have it, I'll kind of keep you posted, so.
Well, you know, and you've got good staff in your office as far
Yeah.
as the county's concerned, so,
Yeah,
you know,
no.
they'll take care of business. Have faith in that.
But like I said, I'll keep you guys posted, so. Pretty much I stay one night and then go home after that. so.
And recoup it all.
Yeah.
I went to the transportation meeting here last week, I guess, whatever, and it was good. And I say good things about you, Dusty, so,
It's scary.
you know, yeah, that is. But, you know, and.
Yeah, we have a meeting this week, Thursday, 9 o'clock, just an update.
Do you?
It's nothing official, usually that February and March ones will be the official ones to get the projects that we try to get money. But we just have an update, because we don't have them for a while, we like to at least have something to keep everybody posted on what all the counties are doing.
But you know, that technical committee is the one that really drives what happens with
Yeah,
that.
oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, we sit on the political side, I guess I'll call it, but the technical committee is the one that,
Yeah, we try to be fair to everybody too.
yeah,
So it's kind of.
seems to get along pretty well, it
Yeah.
appears.
I've been
Just
chair-
wanted to comment
been
that.
chair of that for, I don't know how many, 15 years now,
Yep.
so it's fun.
Anything else?
You guys got anything?
Sounds
Thank you.
good.
Yeah, thank you.
Move on to item number 12.
I'll move to adjourn.
We are adjourned.